posting them the day that we do it. I'm like, I like to like wait a week and here's the little golden nuggets, you know. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta upload. Hello, Facebook Live. I gotta upload a bunch of the podcast videos that that we have done and I've done with a couple of other people, so they can go onto the YouTube channel. But for now, yeah, let me close this, and that. And
I'm excited for today's topic. It's going to be great.
Hello, everybody. We are live on Facebook in the Empath Unicorn Academy group. If you're not in there, I highly recommend to get your butt in there. There is tons of great content in there. And this is where these videos happen live every Wednesday at 1:30 or 1:37 p.m. today. What happens when you get into deep conversations and you can't just, we'll have to cut them like right there so we can start live on time. But paying attention to time is very important. So, and yet again, it's not that important if we're going to be talking on the spiritual level. But anyway, so today the topic is, I'm going to be sharing my screen, and we will be utilizing the Wheel of Life. So this is something that I have acquired through my coach training program, and I have access to different wheels of life, but we will talk about and we'll focus on just one main one, which has 2, 4, 6, 8 pieces, 8 pieces of pie in there. And the focus will be on helping you. Where is it? Yeah, so we're gonna help you how to visualize your new year and new you for the new year. And you can start getting the action steps in place, so that way come the new year you have everything that you need for yourself to become that version of yourself that you want. And I'm gonna say this: enough is enough. Stop whining, stop crying, stop bitching, stop complaining about the things that you don't have in your life, that you're not that person that you want to be, because none of that actually moves you forward. What all those things do is they keep you in the victim state, in the victim level, and you do not grow there. You just stay there. And what happens by you complaining and whining and bitching, and I can say because I've done it and I still do, so that's why I can say it, okay? So when somebody tells me stop complaining, stop whining, and stop bitching, I don't like to hear it. Nobody does, but I get it because it helps me to snap out of it. Because then what happens in that state is manifestation of our bitchiness and our complaints and our whining and our worrying and all of that stuff. We manifest that stuff into our life, even more so by doing that. So today, I want you to put off complaining and whining and bitching just for the next 20 to 30 minutes. So you're here with us, and then you can go on and resume your complaining and whining and bitching if that's the person that you want to be in the new year. And if that's not the person you want to be in the new year, then you gotta schedule your complaining, your whining, and your bitching. Okay? You can literally schedule it. Every morning, I'm gonna get that out of my system, and I'm gonna complain and whine and bitch, so that way the rest of my day goes great. Because once you get that out of the system, then you get to say, okay, that's out. It's not what I want. What do I want? Okay, so I'm Yana Kasperczak, and I am a spiritual awakening core energy performance coach. And I help mompreneurs to quite literally get their shit together and build their unbreakable mindset so they can build their fulfilling and profitable lifestyle businesses, which is no easy feat. Absolutely not an easy thing to do. And the women that I generally work with are the ones that are in startup and of course launching and other stages, but mainly it's in startup because this is where the mindset is felt as the most broken. So I'm here to help you fix that mindset. So I'm doing air quotes. If it ever goes into the podcast where you're actually listening, I'm doing air quotes. So just a little bit of who I am and why I am the person that can help you to uncover who that person you want to be in the new year and then stick to it. Okay. So I have Bethany here with me who will introduce herself, and you can do a little bit of anything that really comes up for you with the new you and the new year.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Bethany. I am a writer, yogi, self-care and love practitioner, a luminary, business owner, and healer and empath. One of my missions is to help you see how wonderful and how beautiful you are as a person, to help you with your self-care and self-love journey, because it is so important on this journey of life to take time for yourself and to dig deep. Now, when I say dig deep for their topic of new year, new you, that is a big thing. In order to uncover what you want is to tune in and to feel your feelings, bring awareness to those areas of your life that you're not happy with or that you would like to change. Also, replacing, as you said, the complaining, replace it with the gratitude. One of my focuses that I've been working on is to complain less, to have less judgment, less self-sabotage. And whenever I find myself complaining a lot, it is nice to get that little like, stop complaining by someone. Because at first I'd be like, oh, what do you mean I'm complaining? And then I'm looking at like afterwards thinking to myself, like, did you see the way you reacted to that? Like, you're complaining, if the shoe fits, it's you. And so now when that happens, instead of reacting in a way that I'm not proud of, I like to stop and sit with gratitude to see what I have now. And then also that tuning in brings me to a place of where I can work through the stuff to be the best version of myself, meaning the new you. And that's something I've worked on. I continue to work on. It's one of those journeys that you will go through for your whole life. It's never gonna, I'm here now. No, because you're gonna keep uncovering different things as you move on. Like one thing you may uncover, and then it opens you up to a whole nother thing. Like for me, my complaining was here, but then it opened me up to more gratitude over here. So now I'm finding more gratitude instead of complaining. So, the most important thing I also with tuning in is to feel your feelings, I feel like, as well, because when you feel your feelings, you're digging deep, like I keep saying, and you're bringing your feelings into it and you're bringing that stuff outward. You're shining the light on the darkness and you're letting your feelings be a flag and indicator instead of something you want to run away from. Let it be that, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Let it be that thing that helps tune you in. That's pretty much but the word doesn't come to me. Oh, well, it'll come to me later.
The word, now it escaped. Beacon.
Yes, yeah, a beacon, having that be like, okay, well, this feeling's coming up. do I want to keep it or do I want to release it? You know, is it going to help me expand or is it draining me? And those are some big things that I ask myself. And I've been doing with others when I do my weekly work through sessions, I guess, my TED Talks that I like to do. So yeah, that's all for now that I have, but more will come up.
Oh,
Sure.
I know lots more will come up, because what I'll do now is I will share my screen so everybody gets to see this wheel of life that I mentioned.
I love the Wheel of Life. It is so expanding to do the Wheel of Life.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite tools, and I often use it in the beginning of a coaching relationship with people that I work with, unless they're going through the law of being, and then it's a different process. But this is what we have on the wheel of life. Okay, we have family parenting. All of us have a family, one way or another, whether it's a biological family or not, it's still a family. And in this day and age, we rarely limit our family to the family that we're born with. It's a family that we choose. But in this scenario, it's going to be family that you're born with or born into. Unless you don't have one, then that's the one that, or family that has chosen you. And parenting, personal development, spiritual awareness, fun and enjoyment, relationship. Now there's intimate relationships, those that you're really close with. This does not mean in the bedroom. This means those that you're really close with, those that you feel comfortable talking to about almost everything and anything, those that know intimate things about you. And then there's social, right? Your friends, people that you meet, parties, things like that. Health and aging. A lot of people are concerned about this one, especially in the world we're living in right now. Um, Personal finance, career, and a profession. Because, and why those two separate is because we call different things different, um, trying to think if there is a separation. I don't particularly always see one, but there are people who don't see career as the same thing as a profession. So on this wheel of life, I want everybody, and I feel like Bethany is already doing this because she's done this before. I want you to circle, or because you don't have this in front of you, you can just write down for each category. Let's start with family being one, so that way it might be easier to write it down. One would be family and parenting, two, personal development, and then three, spiritual awareness, and so on and on and on. So you have 2, 4, 6, you have 8 pieces of pie. So you're going to have 8 in there. So, and for each one, I want you to rate your level of satisfaction with each one, from 1 being horrible or unbearable to 10 being it's great, it's perfect. That's it. Okay. So I want you to take time, a couple of minutes to do that. Now, because I'm live, I'm not going to stop talking. I'm going to continue talking, but you can take some time to do that. Maybe you can, if you're watching a replay, if you're watching a recorded video on YouTube, you can pause the video and take the time to do that. Okay, now I want you to, before we go into the next step, this is what I want to talk about right now. So actually, no, let's do the next step and then we'll talk. So I want you to pick 2 things you want to focus on for the year. 2 main things that you want to focus on for the year. And I want to give you three things, but I feel like you'll be back to this wheel of life and you can pick the other one later. And here's the thing. I don't want you to pick the one that is the lowest on this wheel. And the reason why I say that is because how do I put it? Because when we focus on the one that is the lowest, it doesn't feel good because it often causes us to feel like we are failing, and it will take us way too long to get to 10. So that's why I don't want you to pick the one that says 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. Right? Some of them might, if all of them are in low, then you just pick the one that you want to work on first. If all of them are 10s, then pick the one you want to work on and bring it to 11, 12, and so on and on and on, because 10 is not a limit. Okay, 10 is just, you feel great and it feels, whatever one you focus on, let's say it's spiritual awareness, and for you it might be a 10. And you feel great in your spiritual awareness, but perhaps your family and parenting, you are at a 7 and you want to improve that. Now, also, if you choose to work on your spiritual awareness and you want to get that to 11, you can do that, because here's the reason why I want you to choose something that is closer to a 10, is because when you get one thing from this wheel to a 10, everything will improve, everything will increase. Don't believe me? Test it out and try it. And then come and tell me in a month, minimum a month, or 2 or 3 or 6. Okay? So that's why I want you to focus on those that are closer to a 10. So that way, when you get there, you'll really feel it and it will amplify everything else. Everything else will move. Because when we focus on, like, for example, if you're feeling like your intimate relationship is at a 1 and you don't have a boyfriend or you're not married and you want to get that to a 10, it will feel and it will be a long road to get there. So that's why I want you to focus on those that are closer to a 10 and that will help you to feel good about yourself. That's why. Because when we feel good, we do good. When we feel bad, we do bad. When we feel bad, we also tend to hurt other people when we're hurting, right? That's why my favorite phrase and quote and a reminder is hurt people, which means that if this person is lashing out on me, it has nothing to do with me, but it has everything to do with what they're going through. And if what I'm seeing and hearing is only what's outside, what I'm able to see and hear, but I can only imagine what's happening on the inside that they're not releasing outwardly. Okay, if you're experiencing our tornado on the outside, on the inside, there's the whole continent is underwater, so to speak, right? So that's why. Now, Bethany, I know you picked which one you wanted to work on. Which one is that going to be for you?
Well, I have 3 because this is stuff I've already decided I wanted to work on before we even did the wheel, because I look at my wheel quite often. I love the wheel of life. So for me, it's career and profession, and then health and aging, and then relationships. And this also coincides with my focuses that I focus like, right now, I have the focus of self-support, self-forgiveness, self-love, self-care, which is your health and aging, and then I am focusing on strengthening all of my relationships and releasing those that are not helping me expand. And then career and profession. Well, me and my business partner, which is my husband, have already talked about what we're going to do for the next year for our business. And then I'm thinking about what I'm going to do for my personal stuff and then his personal stuff. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm going with the wheel of life.
So now my next question for you then is, when, because you guys already sat down and you worked out a plan, because we'll just focus on one, right? Career and a profession. So you guys already sat down, you planned for the next year. Did you plan for the whole entire year?
Yep.
Or just, okay.
Yep. Yeah. All
Okay.
of the stuff that we have is some stuff we want to accomplish in the year, in the whole year. Yeah.
So that is what I want everybody to do. I want everybody to sit down, because we're not going to spend the time to do this together here. This is something that I would do one-on-one, because it is it's very personalized, right? But I want you to sit down, and this is what I want you to do. The two things that you picked to work on, if you want to pick three like Bethany did, you can pick three, but it might be harder to juggle 3 balls instead of 2 balls, right? 2 hands, 2 balls. Right? Unless you're in the circus, and even then takes practice to juggle those 3 balls. If this is the first time that you're doing something like this, pick one.
That's what I would say too,
right?
is I've had practice, choosing 3 is a lot easier, but for someone that's just going into it, it's going to be
because you do not want to overwhelm yourself. You do not want to be, I love to use the gym example. You do not want to be that person that goes to the gym, signed up for the gym in the new year, because I am going to be hot and sexy this year. I'm going to lose 100 pounds. I'm going to have this energy. I'm going to have this and that. And then you go into the gym. The first day you spend 2 hours and you use all the machines and you destroyed your body. And the next day, the next 2 days, you're in so much pain. Everything is hurting. Everything is cramping. And you find yourself not wanting to go to the gym afterwards. Okay. Or maybe you spend a week in the gym and then the second week you don't want to go. So the point that I'm getting to here is that we all start off with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement, a lot of inspiration, a lot of motivation, but all that dwindles down and it goes away and it disappears. And we sit there and we wait for it to come back, but it doesn't come back, because this is something that we have to work on and bring from within every single day. So that's why I don't want you to overwhelm yourself with too many things to do towards this project that you focus on. Each one that you're picking from this wheel is a project. I want you to look at them as projects. And under each project, you're going to have actions that you're going to take. And those are going to be, for example, which one were we talking about? We were talking about career and profession. So for example, for career and profession, for you, one of the things that you might put on there would be waking up 30 minutes earlier, right? So now what I want you to do is, for each project, I want you to write down everything that comes to mind, dump it like it is a dumping ground that it is, this piece of paper that you have in front of you. Put everything in there that comes to mind that you want to do and have. Okay? Everything. And then I want you to pick one thing, just one thing that you're going to do today for it, or this week. Okay? Today should be the point, the goal. Why I say that is because just because the new year is not here yet, I don't want you to put it off, because I can pretty much guarantee you're already in the habit of putting things off. It's one of our, quirks that real humans have. putting things off to do later because there's always way too many things that we have on the go that we're carrying, this baggage that we're carrying, the things that we all got to do, especially parents. So I want you to not put it off. I want you to start doing this now. I want you to get into the habit of working on your project every single day. You are the biggest project that you're ever going to have. And if you want to have your shit together, if you want to have an unbreakable mindset, this is where you got to start. Everyone starts here at the very beginning, getting down to the nitty-gritty, tiny little parts of our lives that don't feel tiny. Personal development, it's not tiny. It's giant, but yet it's a tiny part because you don't do this all day long. You don't do this every day, but you should. And I use the word should because it's important to use these words should, because this is how we speak. This is how we understand what is important to us and what's not. So if I say that you should be doing personal development every day and things come up and you're like, no, I don't want to do that. That's not for me. Then this is where I'll ask you to look at your values and see if this is part of your values and what's coming up for you, and start questioning if it's for you or not, and where the resistance is really coming from. Because often the resistance comes from the values that we have that are not our values, but we've never taken the time to identify that they're not our values because we've essentially been brainwashed by our environments. And the environments that we're in, we sometimes don't get to choose the environment we're in, but often we do get to choose. The environments that we're in is also the social media. That is part of the environment that I'm talking about. So again, pick two things. If you're just starting off, this is the first time, you pick one because we can't multitask, and it's important to just focus on one and do one thing really good and get that project complete, even though none of these projects will ever be fully completed, but they will feel completed because it will become part of your routine, part of your lifestyle, part of your habits. It will become like brushing your teeth, and you will no longer need to treat it like a project that it is. It'll just become as easy as breathing. Okay. So, and also by focusing on one, a reminder, everything else will grow as well. Everything else will increase and it will move itself. You can also do this little experiment yourself. Focus on one, see what happens, and redo this wheel of life in a couple of months and see where you're at with everything. And again, everything will increase. But if you are completely neglecting one part, then that part you cannot expect it to increase, which means, let's say the one that we were talking about earlier is intimate relationship. If you completely ignore intimate relationship and you're single and you want to get married, you want to have children, you want to have family, and you are completely neglecting intimate relationships, which means you're not putting yourself out there, you're not doing what you need to do in order for you to have a partner, then you can't expect this to increase when you focus on career and profession. It's simply not going to happen when you're not doing anything for it. Okay. Some areas will just normally increase, but others, you got to actually do something about it. Health and aging. If you're focusing entirely on your career and you completely neglect your health, which looks like this, where you're barely drinking any water, you're eating junk, you're eating fast food, you're not exercising at all, you're always sitting down, then this part will end up going down because it'll be neglected. So now that's basically it. That is how you plan for the year, right? decide on what project you want to focus on for the year. 1 project or 2 projects, or 3 if you're seasoned or if you're a veteran of planning and sticking to your plans. Pick 1, 2, or 3. Then you're going to brain dump everything that you believe goes under that umbrella. And then you're going to pick one and you'll go through that. But then also I want you to look at that list and see put it in order, right? What goes first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on and on and on, with the end goal in mind. So also what I want you to do, and this is going to be the funnest part of any project that you would take on, is I want you to write. If you don't like writing, you can type it. If you don't like typing, you can speak it in the audio, or you can do a video. There are many different ways that you can do this, but I want you to write and state of looking at yourself a year from now. So just imagine that it is January 1st, 2023. What does your life look like? What does we're focusing career and profession. What does your career and profession look like? What does it feel like? What are you doing? How are you experiencing it? Write it all down in a present tense, as if today is January 1st, 2023. I want you to write who you are, really, and what you're doing and how you're feeling, what you're thinking, what your lifestyle is like, anything that comes to mind, write it down. I'll help your creative juices to flow a little bit. So, for example, career and profession. For some, it might look like this. Or actually, Bethany, how about you do that?
Do what again? Sorry.
So a year. So today is January 1st, 2023. What is your career profession look like, feel like, sound like? What are you doing? What are you experiencing? What is it allowing you to have and be?
Okay. I'm experiencing more freedom. I'm feeling more lighter and brighter. The business is thriving more. There's more asset revenues. My money story is at an all-time high, meaning in a good way, not in a negative way. I am pushing past the limits, and I am handling things as they come up and thinking about things in a more of an expanded outlook instead of a closed-minded, a more open-minded to things that are coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, you use a lot of powerful language, which is very important, which is key. And what I would, you can also write like a day, like talking about the day. Today I woke up, write like a story. Write it as if you're writing that story for your children to read, so they can see where you were on this day and this year, and how the year went for you. Today I woke up and it's January 1st, 2023. It is the first day of the new year, and I cannot believe I am exactly where I dreamt of being in December, on December 15th of 2021. It's only been a year, but I'm already here experiencing life as I've been dreaming of experiencing. When I wake up, I feel incredibly grateful for everything that I have in my life without having to list the things that I'm grateful for, because I just wake up knowing that I am grateful for everything. And this is how, like, you can talk about everything, go throughout your day, what you're doing, what you're experiencing, how everything is feeling for you. Draw a beautiful picture for yourself. And then I want you to keep it really close to you. And I want you, in the beginning, I want you to read it to yourself. When you wake up, in the first 20 minutes of your morning, I want you to read it to yourself. If it's an audio or a video, I want you to watch it and listen to it, or at least listen to it. I know a lot of people are not comfortable with seeing their faces on the video and listening to themselves speak, but this is one thing that you can work on, and you can actually learn to fall in love with it. Um, and also before you go to bed. And in the beginning, you might want to incorporate it in your daily routine throughout the day, because when the going gets tough, we can all end up quitting. Just like that gym, that I wouldn't be surprised if you quit as well, right? We all have done that. I get a tickle in my throat now from this tea I'm drinking. And yet it helps to soothe it.
I also see that you're releasing as you're talking. I notice when I'm like talking, and if I cough, I'm releasing something too. So
Yeah.
something.
Or sometimes it feels like I'm trying to hold something back.
That
Right?
too.
Or there's some resistance. Our body speaks to us in many different ways. So and it's up to us to figure out what is my body telling me about what's going on. Even though there are similarities and across the board for all of us, because our body is a little bit different, it would have a little bit of a different message for each and every one of us. So yeah, I was talking about you reminding yourself of this project, of your why, because that is what you have just done. You've written down your why. And the why is the most important. I want you to write down what, by you achieving this goal, by you completing this project, what it allows you to do. That is the why. And when the going gets tough, as it does, because life doesn't stop for us. It's not going to pause for us. It's going to continue going. There are going to be challenges that will come up, whether they're on daily basis, weekly, monthly, it's going to happen. We also all feel like under the weather, or we don't feel like doing things. And that's why the why is important. The why is what keeps us going forward. The why is something that pushes us forward when we can't pull ourselves, because sometimes we need that push. The pulling we do on daily basis, but sometimes we can't pull because we have no more strength to do that. And the why is the most important for all of us. And the why is what too many people do not give enough power to and don't do. And then they wonder why that project, that dream of theirs never came to fruition, never happened. That's because there was no why, or the why was not strong enough. So I want you to spend more time on your why than you did on anything else leading up to this. I want you to put everything in your why that is going to recharge you, that is going to inspire you, that is going to motivate you, that is going to make you feel good, and in the way remind you of what's going to happen if this doesn't happen, if you fail. Okay. And I'm going to use the word fail, even though I don't believe in failure. The rest of the world does. So I'm going to speak to the rest of the world because we need to be reminded of, I'm going to put it this way to you. How will your life be if you didn't do that? If you just, career and profession, you wrote everything down, you dumped it down, you did the work, maybe you wrote your why, maybe you didn't, and then you took this beautiful notebook and you shoved it somewhere in the back of your drawer, somewhere in the back. Okay, you forgot all about it, or even worse, you remember about it, but you're not doing anything about it. So a year from now, what does your life look like if you did absolutely nothing with everything?
Stagnation, that's what comes to mind for me. Being stagnant, not having that growth. And your inner critic might be really strong, even more stronger, because it's like, well, you had all this stuff, like, why didn't you do it? Oh, you're pathetic. You're just gonna talk down on yourself. There's gonna be so much negativity that's behind it.
Yeah. And a year after that, not having done anything, where will you be then?
Going deeper into that hole, and depression might sink in. I mean, even just sitting it for a year, because I've been there. I've definitely been there, and I have noticed in those times I will feel super depressed, and I'll be super down on myself. But ever since, I've been pushing past those limits, and sky is the limit. It's just so much more empowerment and expansion, and then more self-love and self-care is there as well.
Yeah. And breaking through a glass ceiling is one of the hardest things to do. And in order for us to live a life of the sky is the limit, like Bethany says, we all need to break through that glass ceiling that we created ourselves with the help of our life experiences, right? Because we create our own glass ceiling based on everything that we've gone through in our life, all the stories, everything, right? All the experiences. So I want you to really, really get it through your thick, magnificent, strong head and brain and skull that is full of magic that you have not even started to uncover. Even if you have, you probably still haven't. I know I haven't. I still know I haven't even started to uncover, because there's just so much in there that we can pull out and create. And it starts with an idea, plan, and then a tool to help you stick to it. And the tool, the biggest, most powerful tool, is that why. That's why I want you to spend as much time as you need, not as much time as you want, but as much time as you need to spend in putting it together, everything. Because, and I want you to write it in the present tense with no negativity in there, everything to be positive, even though thoughts like, I no longer wake up with anxiety come to mind. Don't do that. Don't write that. And the reason why I say that is because when you're reading it, where you're really reminding yourself of it, what you're also reminding is that you used to wake up with anxiety. So therefore, that will still stay in the program. You want to get that stuff out of the program. Hence, you write, I wake up feeling excited and motivated and ready for the day. I can't believe I missed that. Again, that's also negative, right? See, this is where I also have to catch myself, where it's like, I can't believe. It's like, no, I can believe. I don't want you to use words like unbelievable, I can't believe, can't, won't, need, want to. Those are not going to be in your why. Your why is going to be a dreamlike story of your perfect day, right? Your perfect year, your perfect life, everything in there. And if you need help, you can feel free to reach out to me, and I'll see how I can help you and how we can help each other. So that way you have your strong, powerful why that motivates, inspires you, and pushes you when you need that push. Because without it, you will quit eventually.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that why, that intention is so important. I noticed when I didn't have the why or the intention, it just I found myself being like, well, what's the point in this? Like,
Yeah.
like whatever. Like
It feels like it's no longer important anymore.
yeah, exactly. But when you add that intention, that why, it's like, ooh, yes, this is me. This is what I want. This is what I'm desiring. And it's just so much more powerful.
It is. It is so powerful. And my question is, what, why would you say, sorry, what makes it powerful?
What makes it powerful is being able to expand your mind, body, and spirit. You're stepping into your own power. You're stepping into your unique passions that make you you. You're shining your light bright. And that is true power right
Yes,
there. Mm-hmm.
that's right. And the other thing, our mind is black and white. It goes to the best case scenario or the worst case scenario. And then where do we live? We'll live in between. Right? So and what happens, and the way that our mind works and operates, is that it doesn't jump to the best case scenario. It jumps to the worst case scenario. And that is the untrained mind. Most people have an untrained mind, and it takes a trained mind to jump to the best case scenario. And the way that happens is through practice, through training it.
Mm-hmm.
The why is a small little training for your brain to focus on the good, to focus on the positive, to focus on what's possible, to remove limitations. So that way you can get there. So that's why it's important to remind yourself of your why as many times as you need to, especially in the beginning. First day, you might just do morning and evening. Might be the first week, because after there's a high that we get when we did something really good. When you spend the time doing everything that we've mentioned in this video, when you spend the time doing this, you're going to ride a high. You're going to feel great and inspired and motivated, and it's going to feel great for about a week. After a week, and make sure you're doing this on the weekend, right? They're reading your why as well, because it's 7 days a week. There's no rest for this, right? For achieving our goals and dreams. Not asking to run a marathon, but it might feel like you're running a marathon, rereading this thing over and over again. But the second week, your battery that was fully charged is going to start going down. It's normal. This is part of the process as well. And you might feel like you're being tested. You might feel like you can't do it no more. You're just mentally, physically, and emotionally exhausted. Might happen by the third week, but it happens to all of us because in a way, it is a test of how badly do you really want this? How long can you stay consistent? And consistency is the key here. How long can you stay consistent and moving towards this same goal that might feel like it's no longer important or might feel boring because it's the same thing all the time. And we just want to have some fun and enjoyment. We just want to have fun. And this is boring. We're doing the same thing, reading the same letter to ourselves. And if it starts to feel boring, spice it up.
Right. Change it up.
Right? If you've been reading this letter to yourself, in the same spot, maybe at work or at your desk, go read it on the shitter. Okay? Go outside and read it. Sit somewhere else. Read it out loud. Record yourself reading it, because maybe by this point you'll be like, oh my God, I'm so tired of reading it. I would just rather sit down and listen to it. So then take the time to, maybe you'll schedule an hour for yourself to record this awesome audio. Maybe you'll even add some great music into this audio so you can just listen to it anywhere, anytime, and not have this letter carried around. Maybe you want to listen to it on repeat when you go shopping. Mm-hmm. The sky is the limit here. Because in the beginning, the letter will be fun, but over time, it might just feel like a chore. And I don't want anything in your life to feel like a chore, because when it does, that is when we quit, or that is when we slow down. So find new fun and exciting ways to do things. Not just with the why, but with everything in your life. There's so many different ways of how we can do the same thing. And I want you to explore them. And when that becomes repetitive and becomes just like white noise, right? It's like a painting. You get a beautiful painting in your house and you love it, love it, love it. You stand in front of it and you admire it every day for a week. After a month, you forgot that you even had that painting. After a year, you don't even care that you have this painting. It's because you never stopped to smell the roses, so to speak. So finding different ways to do the same thing is what adds breath to our life. I feel like that would be it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
enjoy the moment and enjoy your journey. That's what I like to do. Find enjoyment in everything instead of like you said, spice things up, change things up, because change is good. And I did not like change whatsoever. And now I love change. When the change happens, I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going to open up now? Ooh, it gets my mind going. So I love change. It's amazing.
Now my question is for you. Are there moments when it takes you, are there moments that takes you a little bit longer to appreciate the change? And doesn't happen automatically?
Definitely. But in those times, I go to my self-care and I go to my self-love and I go to gratitude, because then I can fully appreciate it. And then I'm like, okay. Or I even think about other changes that were really hard. But then when I did it, it was like, oh, that wasn't that bad. That was awesome. So it's like reflecting. Definitely. It helps. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I wanted to ask that leading question was because I wanted you to share and talk about change and how you embrace change when it doesn't happen like this, right? Because everybody assumes that, you know, you work and work and work on yourself, that then you get to a point where everything happens like this, that you wake up and you're feeling great, that something happens in your life and you're right away, you're like, oh, I love change. This is awesome. This is great. That everything is always sunshine and rainbows and unicorns shitting Skittles,
Right?
right?
Yeah,
That it's a daily thing.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah. If it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. You know, it's change is hard, but it's one of those things that give you the most reward and all in all. Because some things like may not seem like a good change. Like when I moved here to Michigan from California, I resisted it a lot. But it turned out being one of the best things I could do for myself. And that change totally changed my life in a whole 180 to where I am to the person that I'm here today, instead of the person I was, who was a worried little mouse running around like, oh, the world's out to get me. And now I'm like, I am here to be this magical warrior unicorn, and I'm going to use my power. So sometimes the change seems hard, but when those push past those limits, that you see the expansion and you see the empowerment behind it.
Mm-hmm. And it takes a lot of effort some days to even say, okay, this change is here and I'm going to have to deal with it. That I have no choice.
Because there's something that are out of your control, and you can't control it, but you can control how you respond to the situation.
Yeah. And some of these things, or actually, how do I put it? It's like a lot of us fear change. Actually, all of us fear change one way or another, because change, the reason why we do is because change has a lot of unknowns behind it, right? So it's like walking into a pitch dark cave. And that's why change is so scary. So the more that we walk into that dark cave, the darkness doesn't change. It's still going to be there. But the way that we see it, the way that we understand it, the way that we embrace it, the way that we, you know, evaluate where we're at, how is this the same cave? We're touching the walls, right? That's going to change. So the change itself and the unknowns won't change, but the way that you view them, the way that you internalize them, the way that you work through them, the way that you deal with them, the way that you face them, the way that you resist them is going to change. And change is the only constant in all of our lives. Because like even after we die, things continue to change.
Yeah.
Right? Body still continues to decompose. It's still changing.
Right.
And the world continues to change. It continues to evolve. Sometimes, like, just thinking back how much the world has changed in the last 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It's insane. And we have not had enough time to adapt to any of this change. It's a lot. And yet, here we are, living through it, breathing through it, thriving through it all. Like just what, 20 years ago, we didn't have cell phones.
Right. Yeah, they told us, oh, you're not going to have a calculator wherever you go. Yes, we do have a calculator wherever we go.
We have a compass. We have everything in our phones. Wherever we go, we're still connected to everyone wherever we go, almost wherever we go, as long as there is signal.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So the reason why we're talking about change is I want you to start looking at change a little different. Stand from, change, pretend like that this change is in the middle of the room. And right now you've been standing at the door. Instead of standing at the door, I want you to go to the corner on the right and look at this change from there. Don't like it from there? Go to the other corner. Look from that corner. Change your perception. Change the way you're looking at something. And if you are struggling to do that, go to YouTube, Google it, talk to somebody, get another perspective in there, get somebody else to help you. And I want to leave you with this. The people that you choose to follow and listen to, the mentors that you choose, this is how I want you to choose them. Those that you hear with your heart and not your head. And you will know when you hear people with your heart and not your head. You will know. It will be such an intense feeling, especially in the beginning when you hear someone speak and things they say. Those are the people that you want to follow. Those are the people that you want to surround yourself with. Those are the mentors you want to have in your life. Those that speak to and through your heart and not just your head. Those are the ones.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. I do have a lovely poem that goes amazingly with today's topic. So here it is. May I breathe and remember to go with the flow during all moments in this beautiful journey of life while focusing on gratitude.
What we focus on multiplies. And
Yep.
we all want to have a beautiful life. We all want to feel like a powerhouse every single day. And I'm here to tell you that it's possible. And I'm here to tell you that it is not as difficult as you imagine it to be. Because our imagination gets the best, the white, and the worst, the black of us, because the mind is black and white. Worst case scenario, best case scenario. And we don't live in either one of them. We live in the middle. Okay? So, and then what you focus on multiplies. Hence the why. Are you focusing on that why? That's the shit that's going to multiply. Like rabbits. Spirit animal.
Yeah, I love rabbits. Yeah.
So thank you, everybody. And especially Bethany, thank you for letting me pretty much take the stage today and talk about the wheel of life. A great reminder for you.
Oh,
And
yeah,
for
definitely.
some of you that have already seen it, probably attended maybe our workshop that we had a wheel of life in there, I believe, or I've done a video with the wheel of life. But most importantly, I want to thank all of you that have watched the whole entire video and have done the work. Because doing the work, that is what is the most important. Listening, it's a very small part. It's a very small part of, of achieving that goal. And I'll give you this one example that I've given to a few people who would who I took through the law of being, and they listened to the CDs but didn't want to do the workbook because listening is enough. It does the work. That's all I need. I don't need to do the workbook. The example I used is this. I cannot wait to have a rocking body. And I know I'm going to have that rocking body because I watch a lot of exercise videos, and I know they're going to allow me to have that rocking body because I watch these videos every single day. Now, am I actually going to have a rocking body by watching the videos, by listening to them? No, that's not even half of the work, right? That's why I like to use that example, because a lot of us, we want to have something, and that's why it's important to also question, is it really what you want? Is it really what you want? Or is it something that you believe you want based on your friends, your family, social media? That one is huge. And it confuses us like there's no tomorrow. This is why this part is the longest when I work with people, helping them to identify, is it really what they want? Or is it something that was added to the program? That's something I had to work through. At one point, I was dreaming and believing that I wanted to live in a mansion. And then when I started working through it, I'm like, absolutely not. I do not want to have more. I want to have less. I want to live in a small house in the middle of nowhere with Wi-Fi. So there's like no one near me. And when I want to see people, I can go to them, right? So that's why it's important to work through that part as well. But anyways, that is all for today. As always, in the end, we always add a few more nuggets in there. Yeah. I know that you know somebody who can benefit from this video, and I really want to ask you to please do me and them a favor and yourself a favor and send it to them. Share it with them. Maybe you want to share it on your social media with your people, with your tribe, and I would really appreciate that. And I'm going to be pretty sure that they're going to appreciate it as well. Because if you got a lot out of this, that's why you're sharing it with them, which means that they're going to get a lot out of this. Now, also, they're not going to get the same thing you did. They're going to get something else. So lower your expectations. And the reason why I say it is because often I hear that people send it to their partner or to their best friend, and they assume that what they got out of a video is going to be the same thing that they get out of it. And an example would be, especially with partners, with couples, that they're listening to something and they heard something in that video, and it allowed them to have a deeper understanding of themselves, and they assume that their partner is going to listen to that part and going to get that same understanding of them from that video. But we're all selfish creatures, and when we listen to something, we always apply it to ourselves. Yeah. And we assume that the other person is going to get the same thing. So they're going to get what they get out of it. So this is where you can ask them and you can share what you got out of it and what they got out of it without any judgment, and learn from each other. And perhaps they might be your accountability partner for this dream of yours and the dream of theirs. They can keep each other accountable for achieving and to achieving. It can be as simple as, did you listen to your why? Yes, I did. Great. That's all, right? It doesn't have to be the whole entire journey, but one little piece, because, and it has to be little, so that way the other person doesn't feel like it's too much for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so more golden nuggets as we're saying bye. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
No,
I am.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm now starving. Like, I don't know if you guys can
I
see.
know, I'm ready
My
for
hands are
lunch.
starting to shake.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, well, we talk so much, we gave so much. Now we got to nourish ourselves and give ourselves some stuff. So it's our time to fill our cups up.
Yeah, and the squirrel is there. He's so cute. I say squirrel because I see a lot of squirrels in the backyard, and it's like the first thing that popped into my mind because they're like, they come out of nowhere. Like, hello, and just hiding.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so thank you, everybody, and thank you, Bethany. Um, and until next week at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time in live in the Impact Unicorn Academy Facebook group. And it's not the VIP one because VIP is for paid members. This is just Impact Unicorn Academy. So until next time, bye everybody. Much love.
Bye.
And
Have a good day.
bye.